What really happened to in-game voice chats? From the pure chaos of old COD lobbies to the random deep conversations with strangers while cruising to Mount Chiliad, the energy and vibrancy of in-game voice chats seem to be fading. But why? Is it the rise in popularity of private party chats? Are we all becoming less social? Or is it simply the lack of excitement in today's popular game releases? Whether you agree or not, one thing's for certain: game chats were far from the stale state they're in now. If you were an OG gamer, you would know that back then, text chats were pretty much the only way to communicate. In 2002, Xbox Live launched from the original Xbox, where players could use headsets to talk to teammates during online matches. Platforms like TeamSpeak and Ventrilo also played a big role. These third-party services allowed players to communicate in real time, but outside the game environment itself, it wasn't perfect. But it laid the groundwork for what was to come. Around 2003 to 2004, games started incorporating in-game voice chats. This was a game changer because you didn't have to rely on external software. You could just plug in your headset and talk to the people you were playing with or against. PlayStation and Xbox were continuously improving their built-in voice chat capabilities, and people were loving it. In 2007, COD 4 Modern Warfare became a major hit and popularized the lobby system where players could talk to each other before and after matches. We could use voice chats to discuss strategies, roles, and coordinate our gameplay approach before entering the match. If you have played team-based games like Overwatch, Counter-Strike, or Dota 2, you probably don't know what I'm talking about. And then there was proximity chat, which took things to the next level. It allowed you to hear others only when they were physically close to you in the game world. So let's say you were playing PUBG or DayZ. You could sneak up on an enemy, listen to their conversations, and hear them panic through their mic when they realize you were right behind them. Think about it. Gaming connects people from all over the world where you don't just type messages, but also hear someone's voice, pick up their jokes, and share those exciting moments together. It makes the experience feel more personal. It has given us many "I'm not crying, you're crying" moments, and also the most heartwarming displays of sportsmanship. For many people, it built real connections. A survey found that 67% of gamers have formed some type of relationship, and 36% of them found a lifelong friend, with more than 20% of those friendships lasting 5 years or more, and 3% lasting more than 20 years. But in recent years, in-game voice chats are sort of dying. You might have noticed that lobbies are mostly quiet now, or maybe sometimes there's just a random kid with a crappy mic. Some might argue that the reason for this is party chats that started becoming normal in the 2010s. PlayStation's Party Chat and Xbox Live's Party became the go-to place where players could communicate only with friends or selected groups. And later, when Discord was launched, it quickly became the preferred platform for many gamers, and ironically, it was external to the games themselves. So if you think about it, it really circled back to those TeamSpeak times, except that Discord had more features. At first, this transition made sense, because who wouldn't want to avoid the chaos of public lobbies where a lot of people are usually speaking at the same time? You can hang out with your friends without worry about some random dude blasting music in your ear or yelling nonsense. You get to decide who's in the conversation, which makes it way more enjoyable. It's like, finally, I can actually hear my teammates and strategize without all the background noise. But here's the problem. While they are great for chatting with friends, party chats can really lose the sense of community and made you isolated from other players in game. I mean, there was fun in jumping to a game lobby and making random friends. Those spontaneous connections don't happen as much anymore. Also, playing with pre-made squads can get kind of stale. You lose that variety of strategies and approaches that come from mixing it up with different players. It's like, oh, here we go again with the same tactics from our usual crew. It makes games feel a little too predictable. Don't get us wrong, we get why everyone loves party chats. There's better quality, more control, and all that, but there's definitely something nostalgic about those chaotic in-game voice chats. Let's be real, in-game voice chats can get brutal. You've probably experienced it yourself, where some random player starts trash talking or just likes to be plain toxic for no reason. It can really ruin the vibe. What was once a fun way to strategize and connect with other players often turns into a battleground of insults and negativity. Who wants to deal with that when you're just trying to enjoy a game? And it's not just a few bad apples. It feels like there's always someone who thinks it's funny to insult others. Whether it's making fun of someone's skill level, their voice, or just being overall rude, it can create a pretty toxic atmosphere. A lot of players, especially newcomers, end up feeling discouraged or even bullied. So we can't really blame them for wanting to avoid voice chats altogether if it means they won't have to put up with that kind of behavior. Plus, let's talk about how easy it is to hide behind a screen. People feel like they can say anything without facing real consequences. It's like they forget there's a real person on the other side of that mic. That disconnect makes it way too easy for players to act out and be toxic, which just drives others away from voice chats. As a result, you've got more players sticking to party chats or even just playing solo. Why bother with voice chat when you can avoid all that negativity? So yeah, toxicity and bullying have really taken a toll on in-game voice chats. Games like Sea of Thieves and Among Us are giving hope that in-game voice chats might not be completely dead yet. In Sea of Thieves, you can hear other players over the waves as you sail, and in Among Us, being able to talk through sus moments and strategies makes the game way more engaging. These games show that when done right,